Okay, welcome to the team call. Today we're going to do a power hour. We're going to go through some of the steps from the BAT that I believe are some of the most important steps. We'll call them the income producing activities. I just got off of a one-on-one phone call with Laura, and we've been talking a lot about some of these activities and getting them in there. And I was mentioning a call that I listened to just barely. And one of the things that they were talking about was just the importance of treating your business like a business, not going to bed or to sleep until you finish your to-do list, which is the business activity tracker, like holding yourself accountable to that action and treating this business as if it's a real business. And they said six-figure business often, but I know not for everybody the goal is to have a six-figure business. It's just to have a business that's rewarding and helps you with whatever goals that you might have. I'm continually pushing myself in striving in my own personal goals and business goals so that I can continue to grow into the person that I need to be. And I do that in hopes that you guys continually expand your vision and your goals as well. So one of the very first things that is not talked about, I think, often enough in doing the business activities and doing your BAT and doing your invites and doing your initiating conversations and everything that's involved in the BAT, it's in there in the topic of personal development. That's one of our things we're supposed to do every day, a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. I want you guys to know, for me, for example, my first year, I listened to 12 hours a day while I was at my job. And when I was in my car, I had a CD of The Slight Edge. So anytime I got in my car, whether it was to go see Gabby at her job or I was driving to work in the morning, driving home at night, I was listening to The Slight Edge on that CD. So it was continually feeding my mind. So I want to reemphasize the importance of personal development, not just reading to read and check it off the box, but to truly grow yourself. And that's on there. But what I think I don't share enough is the fact that when I go to do my work, I try to never work when I'm not in the right state, when I'm not in the correct state of mind. And it's kind of, and Tony Robbins calls it getting into state. You know, he has rituals that he does behind the stage before he walks out and does his whole presentation for like 3 days straight. But I do that before I create content. I do it before I do my follow-ups. I do it before I answer messages. And I found in my journey, the times where I have really failed a customer or a coach are when I'm outside of my work hours, not following what we talked about on our last team call of avoiding distractions, time management, and being where you are. Or I'll just be in a poor state or a not top or prime state. And I'll be like, I'm a little bored. I'll just go ahead and answer a few messages anyway. And then I'll like respond in the way that I shouldn't be, in a way that's not how I would like my best self to respond. So with that being said, we're not going to sit down and read right now. But because we are going to do a power hour and we're going to initiate some conversations and we're going to send some invites and maybe answer a few messages, we're going to listen to a little personal development to get into state first. And I'll share that because, for example, I just got off of a call with Laura. I had like 8 minutes to get in here. And today is like the weirdest day. I pulled my boat out and it's on the street. I pulled my motorhome out. It's out on the street. I pulled my truck out. It's on the street because we had someone bring some rock into the backyard. And then my neighbor, while I was on a call with Laura, his family pulled up in the longest RV I've ever seen and an extra vehicle. And they're just like nowhere to park. They're in the middle of the cul-de-sac, like in a line with nowhere to turn around or anything. And then I come in and one of my teenage daughters is crying and my wife is not here. And I'm just like running in here to the call. So I'm not in the right state to do the business, right? To go out and do the BAT. So I think it's great because that's the way that life really is. We have screaming toddlers, or we're sick, or we have some bad news come in about the sprinkler breaking, whatever it is. If you just have that poor mindset or that burden or whatever it might be on you, and then you go try to pour into other people, it's not going to come out the same. And I think it makes all the difference in the world, someone that's doing the BAT, but not priming or getting yourself in the right state, and somebody that's just going through the motions, but someone that's going through the motions, but also doing it in the right state. So I have an audio that I'm going to share because it's one that I listened to when I first became a coach. all of the time before I would do my work. And there's a 20-minute version, but we're going to listen to the 5-minute version of it. I'm going to search it up. It's called, Just Do It speech, I think, by Art Williams. It was like for a conference for a network marketing company back in the 70s.
I believe desire and will to win is everything. I don't know why I'm like I am, but my butt's always burning. There's always something say, Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to go far. Art, dadgummit, you're supposed to be somebody. You're supposed to make a difference.
I know
the $50,000 a year person doesn't do. You look at the outside and study those two individuals, everything seems to be the same. They both are the same sex, they both are the same age, they have the same training, the same positions, the same contract, the same fringe benefits. They both are successful, they work hard, they're good family people, make tough commitments. But what's the difference? What does the $500,000 a year person do? The $50,000 a year person doesn't do. He pays the price and a little bit more. He works hard and a little bit more. He's loyal to the company and a little bit more. He believes in a little bit more. He makes money and a little bit more. He saves money and a little bit more. If you want to win in these United States, you got to be tough and you can't quit. The last thing I'll talk to you about today in building this winning edge is, folks, if you want to win in business, you got to be a leader. Leadership is everything. You show me anything in these United States that win, I'll show you a leader at work. You show me a successful church, Boy Scout troop, club, football team, business, I'll show you something run by a leader. See, I thought at one time in my life you had to be smart to win. I used to have these smart people that dress so pretty and talk so pretty and use these big words. They just intimidated me. And I said, Art, you can't ever be that good. Why don't you just throw in the towel and go back and coach football for a living? And I found two things out about smart people. I think it's almost impossible for a smart person to win in business in America today. Because I find smart people spend their whole lifetime figuring things out. They're always trying to figure out an easier way and a quicker way. And another thing I found out about smart people is they just don't get around to doing nothing. And see, somebody like Art Williams, everybody said, well, he can't do it. And somebody like that can't do it. But he does it. See, folks, I want you to know almost everybody in America almost does enough to win. They almost get there. They almost are over the hump. They almost have it going. They almost in everything they do, almost is a way of life to almost everybody in America. But the winners do it. What do? They do whatever it takes to get the job done. They do it and do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to be somebody they're proud of. We need leaders in America who can do it. If you want to become somebody, do it. If you want to go in business for yourself, do it. If you want to become financially independent, do it. I hear too much talk in these United States. Everybody can talk a good game. We need people in America who can do it. I go all over this country with A.L. Williams, and I have people say, Art, you can count on me. Wonderful. Just do it. Art, I guarantee you this is my last stop. I'm going to win now. Super duper. Just do it. Art, if I could just have one good month and get the ball going, I know I could make it big. Super. Just do it. Art, if I could just pay off this debt, I could really go. Great. Just do it. Art, if I could just sell my house. Do it. But houses ain't selling. Do it anyway. Art, I'm not making any money. What can I do? You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, I guarantee I'm going to win this contest. Super duper. Just do it. Art, I'm over the hump now. Watch my smoke. Great. Just do it. Art, I want to make it so bad I can taste it. What I do? You just do it. Art, I'm a vice president now. Can I quit doing it? No. Art, I don't know if I can keep on keeping on. I'm really hurting. What I do? You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, all my life I wanted to be somebody important. Well, what do it then? Art, I'm going to save money so I don't have to go through this again. Great. Just do it. Art, I don't feel like I've had enough training. What I do? You just do it. Art, my manager don't give me no help. What I do? You just do it. Oh, Art, you don't understand. I was Mr. Everything at my former company. You don't mean I have to start off down at the bottom and do it, do you? Yep, you really got to do it. Art, what's the primary difference between winners and losers? The winners do it. They do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to finally have achieved something unique, and how glad they are that they didn't quit like everybody else, and how wonderful it is to finally be somebody they're proud of and make a difference with their life. Thank you.
Awesome. Isn't that an awesome little clip?
That's fantastic.
I love that clip.
I got up, I had to get up and jump around a minute.
Yeah, you getting yourself into state a little bit. Yeah, like even listening to that back, I got a little emotional, a little teary-eyed, like I had chills on my skin. And that's the kind of state you need to get yourself into to go out and really get your message across and connect with people in a way where they'll feel it. Because you can type things, you can leave voice messages, but they have to feel that. And I really picked that specific. There's a ton of different audio clips that I'll listen to, maybe Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Art Williams on that speech is one of them. But I chose that one today because in all reality, this business is based on just continually showing up and doing the business activity tracker. So any one of you could come to me any point and be like, okay, what do I do next? And it's like, just do it and do it and do it and do it. And when you get to diamond, what are you going to do? You keep doing it, right? Just take everything that you heard from Art in that aspect. And one of the things I really love from him that really touches me is the fact that he says you can finally become somebody that you're proud of. And I think that's far more rewarding than hitting Ruby, hitting Diamond, being a Success Club All-Star, paying off your school loan, being able to help pay the mortgage payment. Just the fact that obviously you're going to help people along the way, right? Become coaches and build their own business, help people lose weight. But the fact that you did it, right? You set out to do something, to build your business, to help people, and you are accomplishing that and showing up for yourself. So with that being said, the part that I want to focus on today for this power hour is we did that little bit of personal development, got ourselves in state. Now what I want us to do is I want all of us to go to a post that you made in the last couple of days, whether it's a reel, or it could be one of your posts on your main profile, or it could be your stories. You can choose where you want to do this from. And you're going to go see, if it's your stories, you're going to go see who viewed your story. If it's a post, you're going to go and see who liked it, like liked or comments. So I've been working from this one for a few days, just to give you an idea. I made this reel the other day where I had a bunch of new people that I've never seen before. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the click on the likes, show everybody that liked it. So do that for one of your posts. And then I'm going to show you exactly what I do. And then we're going to go above and beyond here. Like typically I say you do at least 5 to 10 a day. That's my goal. But ever since my assistant and I parted ways, I've been doing this. He was doing this for me previously, and I'm doing like 30 a day because I've really fallen in love with this process. So what you do, I'm going to show you guys on Instagram. For example, I'm at this woman, Sherry. Notice you have to click follow to see her posts. Over on the right-hand side at the top, there's 3 dots. It's kind of like, there's 3 dots up here. I'm going to click on that. And it says restrict, block, report, hide your story, copy profile URL, share this profile, send a message. Send messages at the bottom. I'm going to click send message. We've never had a conversation before, as you can see here. I'm going to do this. Hey, this is literally what I do first. This is the first thing after I get in state every single morning. And like I say, my goal is 10 a day, but I've been doing like 30 a day. I'm going to say thanks. I'm very specific for the like on my reel about posture. And then I'm going to do like 3 different laughing, crying emojis, just real nice and light. And then I'm going to put this is what I've been doing lately. I really appreciate the support on our content, or however you want to word that. I say our. I really appreciate the support on our content. And then it's as simple as this. Where are you from? And then what I'm going to do is I should have done it before, but now I copy it. See, I sent that message. There's one. Okay. So you guys write up one that sounds genuine or authentic to you. Make sure you're in your story. So if you're in your stories, you're looking to who's viewing your stories. And then you are sending a message to them, or if it's a post that someone has liked on or commented on. Now, one thing, and I'm going to be quiet in a minute, I promise, is in order to do this, you have to constantly be doing what? Laura?
Posting.
Yep. You have to constantly be posting, creating content, doing stories, or else you're not going to have new people to talk to, unless you do another strategy, which we could talk about, or we'll try another strategy as well today. After this, about searching hashtags, but we're going to do this way right now. Like literally, I'm going to put on, yes, Laura.
So you do all of that. How do you keep track of everybody?
So
Are you just,
I don't keep track until they show an interest.
okay.
So basically what I do, I'll kind of lay it out, and then we're going to sit down and do this, is I start the conversations. At least I'm doing like 30 a day, but I would say do at least 10. And then, tomorrow, first thing I'm going to do on my list is start those conversations. The next day, start those conversations. One of my business activity tracker items and your activity tracker items is to answer the messages in your inbox, to respond to all messages.
Is that including comments or?
Yeah, it's like responding to all comments and messages.
So you go through like that post, say you had 35 people.
Yeah.
So you write down all their names, and then the next day you follow up with them.
No, I don't even write down their name. Like I'm going to do 30 right now with you guys.
Okay.
I don't even write their name. The only time I'll write their name is after we've had a back and forth where they're very responsive. It doesn't even have to be to an invite, but it's like, let's say they write back and they're like, hey, I'm from Maryland. And I'm like, oh, cool. I've never been to Maryland before. I've been out east, but I've never been to Maryland. And then I'll ask something like, were you born and raised in Maryland? Like just something like that. Or if I can see their profile, I'll ask something about that. And if we have a very responsive, they're communicating with me, then I'll write their name down.
When you do like a story or a reel, do you go through those as well? Even if all it shows is their name, there's no hearts or anything, there's no comments. Do you go through and say, hey, thanks for coming to my stories. It means a lot to me, or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not like, hey, I saw that you saw my stories the other day. I just want to thank you and show my appreciation for you supporting our content.
Yeah.
And you can share whatever. You can be like, I'm really passionate about sharing my healthy journey, or you don't even have to say anything like that. You can just start the conversation and say like, hey, where are you from? Or if you have something in common with them, if their profile is public, you can see that, then, comment something like, hey, I see you are always walking with, like hiking with your dog, whatever you can see, right? This specific answer, they have a private profile, so I can't go do anything. Now, one note I want to make before we start doing these messages is that I want, like, for example, I don't even know how this popped up, but this guy, Dylan, hunting, hiking, enjoying life. Like I can see his profile. So, oh, let me click back. Oh, he's one of the guys that liked it. So I accidentally clicked the next person on there. So I would send the message. Okay. And I sent that message this morning. But what I would also do, if you can see their profile, is I would click on it. I would click on their profile and I would go like at least 3 of their posts and comment on one. I call it the 1-3-1 process. Like send one message, like 3 photos, and comment once. And but you can only do that if you can see their profile, right? So I'm gonna do that right now. Like he's got this fish, he's got his fishing pole, but there's the tiniest fish on it. And so I'll just comment like, looks like a trophy with a smiley, like a laughing face. Right? Because he's doing it as a joke. Like he's got this little tiny thing on there. And then like he sees some elk feeding right here. I liked it. I'm gonna be like, and I'll comment on this because I have a lot in common with this guy. So I'll comment on more than one. Right? So not only are you sending the message, if their profile is public, I want you commenting on one photo that you can relate with and then liking at least 3. Okay.
So how do you do 30 quickly? I mean, do you have, is it just because you've done it so much now, you're just.
Well, 30 takes me about 20 minutes. And honestly, right now I get on my cycling bike, not on a class. I just get on the bike and start pedaling, and I do it while I'm pedaling. Like first thing before I do my workout too. Like I take my pre-workout, I sit on the bike and I start going, and I just go to my post from before, like this. And then I just start going. So what we're going to do,
copy and paste.
Yeah, it's copy and pasted. Like when I sent that first one, just barely to Sherry.
Yes.
I copied it. So it's copied. I'll show you. I'll do another one right now. And then I want you guys to get started if you haven't. So I'm going to go down. Next one on here is Stacy. I can't follow her back, or I could follow her. I don't even hit follow until they respond because I don't know anything about them yet. So I'm going to go to the 3 dots. I'm going to hit send message. And I'm going to. So I did it back in October. Hey, Stacy, I wanted to say thank you for following my family and I. And that was my assistant. He didn't ask a good question. So, see, I just copied it on there.
What was not a good question? What is an example?
He said, are you a Beachbody coach as well?
Oh.
He was just trying to spark a conversation, but if they don't know anything about Beachbody, they'll be like, what is this weirdo asking me about? So it's the same thing, except this time it's, hey, Stacy. I'm going to recopy that because I had the hey Stacy on there. You don't want to paste hey Stacy to everybody on accident. So look, I sent the second message already. So hey Stacy, thanks for the like on my reel about posture. I really appreciate the support on our content. Where are you from? So I'll do it like that. I'll go to the next one. The next one is this lady named Joan. I'm not following her, but you see how I can see her posts. So she's not a private. So I'm going to go to the first one. Soon as you say my child would never ... here they come, nevering like they never before. So I liked it. And then I'm going to do, laughing faces. So true. Laughing faces. So I want to show you guys, this is exactly what I'm doing. So I commented that on her post. And then I'm going to go like a couple more. So, I'm going to comment on one more because I like this one about the tragedy in Texas. So I commented on that one. And then that took what? Like, that was like, I commented twice, sent a message, liked like 4 photos. That was about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, right? So if you guys have questions, pop up, but I'm going to do this with you guys. I'm going to go do we'll do like 5 to 10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes so you guys get more out.
$1,200.
And as you're doing it, if you have questions about what should you say on one of their posts or anything, that'll become more natural as you do it more. But if you have questions, just ask me. I'm gonna get like 50 out today because I already did 30. Just remember to like and comment if they do have a public profile.
Someone needs to mute their line.
Is it my music one? Oh, it might be Cynthia's.
Oh, I hear some banging in the background.
Yeah, I muted it. All right, well, everybody's working. Matthew, I saw you just popped on here. We are sending invites. We're not sending invites right now. What we're doing is we're just starting conversations. So you either go to a post from yesterday or this week or your stories and see who's viewing it. And then you go to their page and you do the 131 method, which means if they have a public page, you send one message privately, you comment one on one post at least, and you like at least 3 of their pictures. If they don't have a public page, you just hit the 3 dots at the top, scroll down, hit send message, and send the message. And we're just doing basically a copy paste, but it's not an invite. We are just introducing ourselves. For example, I'm looking at my reel the other day about posture, and I'm just going through the people who liked it and starting conversations. So this guy has a private profile. I'm just going copy and paste right now. It says, thanks for the like on my reel about posture. And I do a few laughing emojis. And I really appreciate the support on our content. Where are you from? So we're just starting conversations. And I've really decided to fall in love with this process. And it's really cool to get to know people when you do this genuinely. Oops. Ooh. Okay, Kim, Scotty, do you have a preference between? So Kim, I personally do almost all Instagram right now. It will depend. You have to do both and find which one works most successful for you. I find that for me personally, now that I've become consistent at doing reels every single day, that I get new eyes. Like I haven't ever had a day where there's not new eyes on my content of some sort on Instagram. On Facebook, I find right now it's always the same, mostly the same people. But if you're doing Facebook reels and you're getting that type of, expansion that like I'm getting on Instagram, then either one would work. But treat them the same. Just depends on if you're getting that connection or getting those new eyes on your content. Okay. I'm going to give us like 1 or 2 more minutes, then we're going to move on. And for the guys on here, one guy on here with me, for example, sometimes there'll be females that I can, sometimes it's hard to tell if they're 19, 20, 21 or 16, 17 on social media. So if I see in their description, it says like class of 2022 or 2023, where it's obvious that they're showing that their high school graduating class will be that, I do not send a message. I don't like the photos. But if it's like, if it shows the same thing, but it's a college one and they're in college, I'll send the message. I'm not afraid to ever reach out to a female in that case. But if they are obviously not graduated from high school yet and have their graduation on there, then I don't. Oh, nice. I'm at the very last one of this specific reel. Okay, we're going to move on from here. Let me get the sound off of here. Okay. Let me turn off my classical music. I tend to either listen to personal development in the background or classical music. I put classical music specifically this time. So if you guys had a question, I wasn't trying to talk over singing. Okay. How do you guys, how many messages did you get out? I'm curious. Anybody want to share how many messages they got out? I personally, and I got 30 this morning. I did 16 in that little time frame. So, and as you guys can see, I don't have any responses yet. But I do want to scroll back down here a little bit to show you guys. Just to give you an idea, I sent out like 30 messages. My next business activity, my last business activity tracker of the day. For example, I've created my content. I've started my conversations. I've done my personal development. I've done my workout. I've done my shake. I've checked into my team page. I've checked in and responded to everything on my bod group. I've posted in my bod group. I've sent out my invites, and we can do a couple of those today real quick before we go. That's the last thing I want to do on here. I've sent out my invites, and then the last thing on my BAT would be to respond to all the comments in my, as Laura said before, on my posts and in my DMs, right? In my Instagram DMs and my Facebook DMs. I've already answered all the emails that came into my email account, but I still need to answer all my DMs and actually I did my Facebook ones. All I have left is my Instagram ones. So that's the last thing today. So what I'm going to personally do is I'm going to put my AirPods in after this call, and I'm going to walk around the block, and I'm going to answer the 50 or so messages that I have in my Instagram. And one thing that some advice I want to give you when you're doing your responding to all of your messages is that you never just answer a question. You always end the conversation with another question. And it doesn't have to be about Beachbody. It could be about anything. If they say something about their weekend was full of dance, and I say that because Kim's on here, then you're going to ask them, like, how many kids do you have in dance, or whatever it might be, right? You're going to continually keep that conversation going with questions, because you're building a real relationship. And then what happens is when the time comes right and it feels right, or you guys have had the conversation for enough time that there's some rapport built between the two of you, then I casually throw out my invite, like, hey, next week, you just have a date, whatever that might be, that you're going to start Fire and Flow, or you're going to start a new group of 4-week health protocol. You would say something like, let's say Melissa and I were chatting about, we made a connection. She was watching my reels as a random stranger. We chat back and forth. I find out how many kids she has. She knows how many kids I have. I found out she lives in Texas. She finds out we live in Idaho. I tell her that we went on vacation to Texas. And then I ask her what other places, if we go back to Texas, would be great to visit. Like, we're having a real conversation. I'm having real interest in getting to know her, or having her add value to me by me asking her questions. If she never asks me about those workouts I'm doing, or that pre-workout that are in my stories, or that transformation on my page, because some may never ask, I'm just going to throw out a casual invite where I'd be like, hey, Melissa, in 2 weeks, I'm going to start a new group of clients on this awesome new program of HIIT workouts and some flow type yoga type workouts, right? And I would just be like, would you be interested in doing a challenge with us? That's what the invite looks like. Simple as that. That makes sense. So some people may ask you about what you're doing or your update photo or your shake or whatever. Obviously, then you can directly go in and tell them, this is what it is. You should do it with me type of invite approach. If they don't say anything, all these conversations that we're starting and having, eventually throw out that invite. Like I just mentioned. And Laura, that goes back to answer your question. Those are the people's names that I write down. Right? I have that conversation back. If the conversation just dies and they're not responding to me, they're not going on the list.
How many conversations do you have before you actually give them an invitation, where you feel like you know them well enough, or
It's really, in all honesty, it could be like 3 back and forths. Like, it's not a week later or 2 weeks later. It's like, let's say I wrote you today. I wrote you today, and you were one of those 14 that I just did. You respond, within an hour, and I'm out walking, and I'll respond back and ask a question. And then my phone's put away for the night, remember, because I'm avoiding distractions and putting away. And then tomorrow, I start my new conversations, but when I go to do my answer my messages, I see that you respond back again. Then I would respond back to you, ask you another question. If you respond back again, that's like 3 or 4 back and forths. Then I'd be like, then I would be just with that casual invite, like, hey, if you ever need help with your health and fitness goals, or whether it's, I do that approach sometimes if I don't have a specific group set, like my casual one, if I don't have a group set, would be like, hey, if you ever need help with your health and fitness goals, that's what I do with my spare time, is help people get results with home fitness programs. Right?
Can I share something?
Yeah.
I decided I'm starting back at square one. My May was not a very good May. We had COVID running through the house. I was sicker than a dog. My energy level was really low, and I just had no enthusiasm and no drive. And I also had no business.
Yeah.
And so I decided I'm going back to square one, and I'm doing the first 100 days of the posts that you give us at the top of the Dynasty Strong. Yeah. So I did post number 1 yesterday. I got like 11 people that responded to that.
Awesome.
So it's just, if you don't know what to post, start there.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for the reminder for that. So she's talking about, it's pinned in the Dynasty Strong team page. It's like a first 100 training. There's like a quick 2-minute training in each post, and then an actual prompt of put this on your social media. So if that will help you guys get in that consistency and that habit, take that advice from Laura and jump on board with that. Cool. I do need to end this call in 12 minutes from now. So what I want you guys to do next, and then just a reminder right now, if you ever wake up to do your business activity tracker, you go through the activities, and then you get to the part where it says respond to all comments and messages, and there's no messages in your inbox, let that be a reminder you are not doing your job, right? Because if you're starting these conversations, you're going to have some messages to answer. And it's fun when it's like that. I think back on my business when it's been the most stressful, or I'm like, what's going on? It's when I do all the activity tracker things, but I'm not truly starting these new conversations like we talked about today. And that's why I focus the majority of today's power hour on that part, is if you're not truly and genuinely doing that, creating content and doing that, then when you get to that part of like answer all messages, and there's 2 messages in there, and you finish it and you're like, I got nobody even close. It really comes back to this activity in the beginning. And what I want to remind you guys of is that the people that you're talking to right now, our job is not to convince them, do some magic sales training to close them in the next 30 days to hit Success Club this month at all. I genuinely have the understanding and belief over the past 12 years of doing this consistently, for the most part, that a person that I start a conversation with today most likely won't be one of my challengers for 3 to 6 to 9 months. Okay. So what does that mean? That means you have to consistently do this so that when they are ready on their own time, they've had the time to watch you, see that you're honest about this, see that you're genuine about this, see that you're truly here to help people, that you're consistent yourself, that you're the example, so that when the time's right for them, you're the example and the person for them to come to. So, and thanks, Kim. I'm going to just reiterate that for those that can't be reading the comments right now. Kim says, I think this was very helpful to make the link between posting content and starting a new conversation. Inviting. And I want to talk about some more things, but I want us to take action. Okay. So I want us to take action on this. What I want you guys to do now is, this will all depend on if you have conversations started already. And I want us to be honest. This isn't for me to be like, shame you if you don't have conversations going. But I want you right now to go and take the next 5 minutes and send out 5 invites at least. And the invite could be the casual one. It could be like, hey, I can't believe that I've never invited you to do a fitness challenge with us. Just as simple as that. It could be someone that's watching stories. It could be your cousin that you haven't talked to yet. It could be your brother. It could be your nephew. It could be one of your dance students. I want you to just go make a casual invite, but I want to make this less scary for you guys. We're going to do a 2-step invite. We're not going to go straight to do a challenge with us. This is what you're going to do. And do it 5 to 10 people. Be like, hey, this is going to be easier one for breaking the ice for those that aren't in the habit of this consistently yet. You're going to do this invite and I'll do it with you. Hey, I was thinking about you. However you want to word that sounds best in your voice. We have this new program that launched and I have a free sample workout. If I sent you this sample workout, would you try it out and give me your opinion of it? Okay. And then, by the way, that sample is on Vimeo, Team Beachbody's Vimeo site. Does that one sound like an easy enough invite that's not too bold to go into someone's inbox randomly? Okay. So you're going to send that invite to 5 people right now, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm going to do it with you right now. So I'm going to do it to this guy, but I'm responding to his message that he wrote me already. It's good to hear from you, man. Hey, I have a new workout program that came out. If I sent you the sample, would you try it out and give me your opinion of it? Okay, you guys heard me do that voice text. Mine basically says, I appreciate that, to something he said. And then I said, hey, I have a new workout program that came out. If I send you the sample, would you try it out and give me your opinion of it? I copied it so I can send that to 5 more people. Okay, one I sent out just barely said, we had started a conversation before, but it didn't go anywhere. So Laura, that kind of goes back to tracking. This is a conversation I had back in 2019. They were interested in Shakeology. I explained everything, the packages. She said, well, I just don't really have the money for it. Conversation ended in July of 2019. I resent a message to her thanking her for the liking of the content. And she just put, I said, what's new instead of where are you from? Because she'd already answered a question like that before. She said, not much, just working a lot. So I'm going to respond to that message. And it's just like it's good to hear that you have a job. And then I'm going to be like, hey, I have a favor. And then I'm going to copy and paste that. Where it will say, hey, I have a new workout program that came out. If I sent you the sample, would you try it out and give me your opinion of it? Hey, that's good to hear that you have a job. I'm happy to hear that. Because then the end goal is if they love that workout program, that plants the seed of what a home workout looks like, where you could then offer them what? Beachbody on Demand, talk about the nutrition plans. Hey, that's good to hear, man. I love seeing your family grow. So this one, hey, that's good to hear, man. I love seeing your family grow. And then I'm going to copy and paste this. If I sent you the sample, I have a new workout program that came out. If I sent you the sample, would you try it out and give me your opinion of it? I'll be right back. Just be really safe and check. You don't have a phone, right? When will you be back? What week is the whole good? No later than 3. I was supposed to pick up that one broken out in the Portland County, but I don't have my phone. You're gonna finish your work when you get back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, we're about the time we need to end. My wife's gone and the girls are asking to go to the canal, so I needed to make, and they don't have a phone, so I need to make sure I set a deadline for them to be back, so I don't worry. Okay. Melissa.
If they become a coach this month, would they get that coupon for $20 off? Do you know?
Yeah, you should have the promo codes to give them in your did you have some promo codes in your email?
I do, but if they become coaches, would they get one too for this month or not really?
I don't have the exact answer for that. I'll have to check the coach FAQ.
Okay.
So let's look at that and then we can share that in the team page.
I also saw something, someone posted that those $20 off aren't good for the fire and flow.
I'll look at that right after and I'll put it in the team. I'll put an update on what that's for.
Yeah, I was like, what? I don't think that's right.
It should be for they should be, that's what they're for.
It's for anything over, isn't it like the 169?
Anything over, it should be over 140.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Kim shared, for the record, I ignored Scotty for almost a year before deciding to become a coach. LAMO. So yes, there are folks that don't commit immediately, pointing to self. And this is just my reminder, guys, going back to Art Williams, just do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. Sharing what Kim shared there, for example, I was introduced to P90X from somebody who was not even a coach. I did P90X 4 entire rounds before I became a coach, and I knew about it for 8 months, right? So that is just the reminder that when we're doing this, you have to emotionally disconnect yourself from whether they ghost you, answer you or not. Your job is just to do the work. And I think I was blessed in the aspect of I had the opportunity to be a missionary for 2 years. And so my job every single day was to go out at 9 a.m. after, studying with my companion, reading scriptures. I would leave and I would knock doors from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And, if someone was responsive, open the door to us. We'd have a quick conversation. We'd make an invite we'd give them a book they could read a little bit, and we'd set an appointment to come back and see them again. And that's sort of this process of what we're doing here is these initial conversations you're sending out is you just knocking on the door. It's starting that conversation, opening the door, starting to make the connection with them. If there's a connection, then great. If there's not, that's totally okay as well. I mean, there's people that it's the funniest thing, and you can probably relate with this, where like the right person, it has to be the right person. I could give a ton of examples for this, but like there'll be salespeople, whether it's pest control, whether it's some sort of like solar panels or lawn control, like weed control, that will knock the door. And if they're not good at making a connection with me and they just come barging in with their sales pitch, like I'm immediately like I'm busy and I'll shut the door. Right? I'm like, nope, I'm not interested, and I'll shut the door. You guys have probably done that. But there's some people, like there was this time the other day, and I pay, and I have always taken care of everything in my yard, me and my dad, you know, with as far as mowing and spraying for weeds and all that stuff. There was this one time we're out shooting hoops in the front yard, and this guy comes walking down the street. I'm not paying attention because I'm into the game. He's like, pass it over here. We passed it over, and he like shot it. He dribbled around, passed it to one of the kids. And guess what? I pay a upfront yearly cost for that company to come spray my weeds. You get what's going on here? So that's what we're doing when we're in that inbox, is you have to be genuine at finding you. It's like magic. It's like your own magic sauce of figuring, like, I can't tell you exactly how to do that, of really making finding your way to make a connection with that person. And us doing it this way, we're doing it via Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, right? And I know we're at 103, but I'm going to share one last story of a way that I was very successful as a missionary. And like I was in Venezuela for 2 years, and like was one of the top, what you'd call baptized. Like I've baptized a lot of people when I was on my mission. So that means found people on the streets, knocking doors, brought them to church. They fell in love with it, gained a testimony of it, got baptized, and became members, right? And I had a very high number, but I wasn't very successful at knocking doors and having people let me in. But what I did is I used my own gifts and talents. So before I left on my mission, I skated. I played the guitar. So what I would do is, in these South American country in Venezuela, there's what's called a plaza somewhere in the town, usually in the center. There's always a statue, and people would come, families would come hang out, but a lot of the youth would come and hang out. And they would be skateboarding. They would be playing acoustic guitar in a circle. It's where the kid group, the teens would all come hang out. So, and I was a teen, I was 19, 20 years old. So what I would do with my suit and tie on and Sunday shoes, I would be like, hey, let me see that skateboard, in Spanish to these kids. And I would do a trick. I'd do a kick flip or a hill flip, like a skateboard. And they'd be like, what? I thought you spent your entire life in some sort of monastery. You're a normal person. And I had a little picture book with the girl I was dating before I left, a picture of my mom and sisters, a picture of me, jumping off a cliff with my snowboard, a picture of me with my band, just all the things that I loved. And I would show them, be like, they were always, every time the response was like, what? I thought you guys that walked around with these white shirts and ties, like just lived in a church like monks. And we just built friendships. But what happened is, what do you think the parents of those kids do when those kids come home at night? What did you do? Who did you hang out with? And they would always, not always, but a lot of time they'd be like, oh, we met these two guys from the United States that were with this church, and they gave us this. And the parents would want, some of the parents, right, would want to be like, okay, who's this guy that talked to my kids? And then we would ask the kids, hey, did you talk to your parents? Are they okay with us swinging by there? And a lot of times they would just have us come over because they wanted to see who their kids were talking to at the plaza at night. And so we got to work with a lot of families that way. And, parents of teenagers, they want their kids generally to be surrounded by good people. and they believe somewhat that these missionaries that they didn't know would be a good influence on them, right? So we had a lot of success that way. So I want you to think about that when you're not knocking doors, you're not at the plaza, but our social media is that way in some sort of way, right? I'm showing my true self. You get to show you, like, making funny reels is my thing right now to make connections. Like, I'm just showing people who I am, just like me doing that kickflip for the kids, opening up my picture book and being like, this is what my life looks like back home with my family. So that's what you get to do with your social media. And then knocking the doors is like actually talking to those people. So we're at the hour. I know you guys got to get going.
I have one question.
Yes, Laura.
I bet you, well, it's made more of a statement. I bet you did that without fear.
Yeah, there was no fear to that. It was just authentic, just being yourself. And I knew what my job was. I was clear on my mission. It's funny, it was a mission. I was clear that my job was to meet people and invite them to come to the church and see if it was something for them. So it was just, I knew clearly what my job was to do. And then I went out consistently, disciplined, and I just naturally did the best I could to connect with people. And that was through things that I had in common with them, right? And it's funny, like, now I do reels. One of my other companions that we were super successful together, he was a magician. What do you think he did with every kid in the street? He was pulling things out from behind their ear. He was like making things disappear in his hand. And so he used his gifts. So all of us have our own unique gifts. It's important that we just share them with people. And that's our best way to connect with people. Okay. All right. We are going to end the call. I want to thank you guys for being here. Next week is Jennifer Greenberg, I believe. She's the third coach that ever signed up with me. She's $1 million earner with Beachbody. And led in the elite team for 4 years. So she'll be an awesome call to be on. Make sure your teams know that they're invited to be on these calls as well. Okay, we'll see you guys next week and in the team page.
Thank you.
Yep, see you guys later.